Comment there, Coach.
Okay. I don't know, just thinking back to last week, I thought that, that was a great experience for our team, a great experience for our fans. And again, I appreciate everybody who traveled up there in that right-hand corner. We had a lot of folks at that game sitting in the rain and in a really, really good environment, packed house in Fayetteville. To play in the manner that we did and answer some challenges offensively and defensively, play a different style, actually, be able to react to the weather, do some things probably a little bit differently than we've done here in the past. I think that's probably the first series we've ever had since we've been here that we didn't attempt one pass and scored, and 7, 8, or 9 play drives. So. That says a lot about your team, about your versatility maybe a little bit, and about where our confidence factor lies with our offensive line and our running game. And I think it says a little bit about a maturity level of our team. For a quarterback to, sometimes that's not the most fun thing, just stand there and hand the ball off every snap. Particularly for our guy, but he operated well. Our team operated in that situation, and then answered some challenges in the fourth quarter from a team that was very, very well coached, and on the road. It's a good win for us, which brings us to the bye week, which we need. I think unlike last year, we had 12 straight because of the hurricane. This year's a lot different. We've got 5 games in. We get a week off, which we need. We had some guys limping around after that game that we got to get healthy for this next stretch run. So we practiced yesterday. We'll practice Wednesday and Thursday. Players have today off and Friday off, and then we'll work out Saturday. But and then get back into game week next week, getting ready for Ole Miss. Questions?
Okay. Down here front, Brent.
All during the offseason, we talked about your quarterback, and your quarterback talked about, and you all talked about working on his pocket presence. Do you really sense that he has done that over the first third of the season, and how has that benefited your offense?
I've had a bunch of people ask me about, statistically, he's. I don't know what the difference is. I haven't compared it to last year. I just know that I think he's done a better job of seeing the field, not bailing right away as he did a year ago. And then when he's ran, I think he's used pretty good judgment in getting out of bounds or sliding, which he didn't do last year, which we begged him to slide. So he's probably slid more in the first 5 games than he slid all last year, which means he's, it's another sign of growing up and protecting the football and not being reckless. There's no doubt we have some more design runs in for him, so he knows that. But, I think what you also see is his ability with a little bit more freedom and understanding of the offense to change plays instead of looking back over at us all the time. He's got some parameters. He's been able to get us into some good plays. And the key with that, with quarterbacks, is, everybody wants the perfect play or a great play. To me, that's not what quarterback play is if you're going to change plays. What it is keeping us out of horrendous plays, negative yardage plays. And, I think he understands that a lot. And I know he understands that a lot more this year in year 2 than year 1, and he should.
We'll go to the back here, Chip.
Kevin, have you addressed or will you address your players about the rumors with your name being associated with the USC job?
No, I don't ever talk about that. That's always going to be around. I mean, they only talk about coaches 2 ways, and one of them is you're not going to be around, and the other way is you're either moving on or something else is happening. So as long as I'm not in that first conversation, we're doing something right. And our players get that. Our recruits get that. I understand it. I don't talk about those types of things with anybody because, that's just part of the job.
Down front, Sam.
I know you had it a lot after off seasons at Houston. What did you learn from the experience of handling that type of speculation, and how do you approach it?
I mean, I don't approach it. I just don't talk about it. So, you know, it's going to be talked about no matter what. And like I've said before, if they're only talking about you a couple ways, and if they're not talking about you at all, it's probably there's some other issues. So, you know, that's part of it. That's always going to be the case, I hope. And you know, that means that you're winning, and that you're winning the right way, and you're doing things that are helpful, and you're doing and being real positive about it. So, from my standpoint, it's not a job to management. I just don't even approach it.
Other questions? Over here to the left, James.
Kevin, can you talk about your relationship with Johnny and how personally it's developed since you first got on campus almost 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think you know, it's probably a little bit different. I think every coach, position coach, and head coach has a different style of dealing with players. I'm just a firm believer that as a head coach, your relationship with the quarterback, with the starting quarterback, has got to be a very, very unique one in the fact that unlike a lot of the other players on the team, a quarterback, much like the head coach, gets way too much credit when you win, but you get most of the blame when you lose. And so the feeling that you have and the sense of responsibility that you have are a lot different than a lot of other positions. And the ability for you to be able to communicate with that young man in a different manner, I think, is important. So whether it was here or Houston, you know, I think the relationship that I've had with he and Case is a very, very different one. And because of the stress level that they're under, not only during the game, but the whole time. So, you know, from a relationship standpoint, I would categorize it as a close one.
Far right, Gabe.
Coach, how pleased have you been with DeShazer Everett's ability to play wherever you need him to play?
With one hand?
Yeah,
And
with one hand.
touchdowns? Yeah, he's playing pretty good.
Yeah.
You know,
And
I
just
can't wait
him
till
as-
he gets that cast off. Then maybe he'll score twice in a game. You know, he's scored the last 2 weeks playing. You know, we moved him from corner to safety. He's making tackles. He's scored in back-to-back weeks, and just an invaluable piece to what we're doing. He understands what we're trying to do. Has really given us, you know, playing out of position basically, because he's our best corner. So, you know, we move him. You give up something, you think, but he's also one of our better DBs and gives us speed back in the back, and has saved some touchdowns this year, no doubt, and given us the opportunity to line up and play defense again. And I can't tell you how critical that's been. So, you know, he's another guy. Anytime you have a team that's winning, you have to have some unselfish players. And I put him in that group with, you know, Mike Evans just goes in there. Had never been on kickoff return. We had a player go down, and Coach Banks explained to him what to do. And our longest kickoff return of the day, he just goes in there and does it and runs back off the field because he wants to win. And, you know, when you have players like that that'll jump in, Coach, I haven't played that position, or DeShazer Everett is a classic example of, yeah, it's hard playing safety here. It's a little bit easier playing corner because you're out there with one guy. Safety, you got all kinds of different formations and fits and different things in there and tackling. And so, you know, his unselfishness is another great example to this team of what it is to be a teammate and try to win games. Not being selfish and just saying, hey, I'm just going to do this. Somebody else handle that. I'll take that over. And you'll see him, too, on a number of special teams. Covering kicks, returning kicks. He's on the front line on kickoff return. You know, he's doing a heck of a job for us, and I think, you know, that is a great example for the young players on this team.
Sam, down front.
What's the health status on Kirby Ennis, Darian Claiborne, and Mike Evans?
Mike Evans is limping around a little bit. He needs this week off. We just discussed that this morning. I said, I don't really care if he does much this week. I think he's pretty much proven that he's a tough guy. He's limping around. Darian Claiborne's same. He's got a thigh bruise. I look for him to be back next week. Kirby Ennis is a lot more serious than that. And so we'll continue to evaluate that and then figure out where he is here by the end of the week. Yeah.
Cease, down front.
Kevin, can you talk about where you've seen improvement on your defense last couple of games and where they definitely need to move forward?
We need to move forward. I think the communication, as soon as we get something going and we get Kirby back, and then he's out of the game, half the game. Then he comes back, and then he's out. So we got Isaiah Golden in there. We're back to where we were. I think Darian Claiborne has given us a shot in the arm from a tackling perspective. Are we fitting everything right now? No, but we're better than we were. I think the consistency up front at the linebacker position, Darian's really helped us. Stephen Jenkins being back full-time has helped us. And we've really kind of solidified who we are until Kirby, which is, as big an anchor as we've got up front. He went down in that game. So it'll be interesting to see, where he is. We'll be back to putting Isaiah Golden and those guys back on the field. Hardrick Walker inside and moving Alonzo. By the way, Alonzo, that was the best game he's played. He made a bunch of tackles and held up at the point of attack, which is really, really encouraging. So, no, we're not there yet. We needed to get off the field. We gave up. The interesting thing is, you watch the video, we had less MAs, mental errors, than we've had all year, but they were critical. You have one guy that doesn't fit here, it's a long run. That's those two backs at Arkansas are pretty good backs now. So they're putting 100 yards on everybody they played, and if you get the wrong crease, I mean, they're good. And they had a great plan. Jim Chaney did an excellent job as offensive coordinator, mixing it up, throwing all kinds of stuff at us and really keeping us off balance. But like I said, I think the key is we made enough stops in a situation where we had to and created turnovers. And so, when you go on the road and you win the turnover battle, 2-0 or 3-0, you're usually going to win the game every time. And, we really harped on that. And, as our defense gets better, we got to be opportunistic and create turnovers, but offensively, we got to hang on to the ball, and that's pretty much the recipe for success on the road.
To the back, Darryl.
Coach, with an off week, is the advantage more being able to game plan or the advantage to be healthier?
It depends on where your team is in life. There's some teams you don't want a week off. You just start, like last year, you have a momentum, you feel like you're a hot team, you just want to keep playing. We need some time. We got some guys, as I said, that left out of Arkansas limping around. Anybody who saw everybody getting off that plane, it was some slow walking coming down that ramp, and it wasn't just because it was wet. So we played a lot of young guys, and I think what everybody thinks about the physical strain of playing, week 5 or 6. The hard part for the young players now is the mental strain, because it's stressful. And now you're 6, 7 weeks, you're in the school, and you got the first barrage of exams, quizzes, those types of deals that these young guys are having to handle all that. So for our team, the bye week comes at a great time, because I think not only physically, I said this yesterday in this room, but I think mentally we needed this week. That's why today, for the first time in a long time, we don't have practice and we don't have a lift. We have just go to school, go to class today, go to study hall, and it's been a long time since those guys have had a day like today, and I think that's the positive right now.
Sam, down front.
Now, the last 2 weeks, you've had all 4 your scholarship running backs available, and in theory, you talked in the preseason about using them. How did you feel like you used them last week, and how nice was it just to see all of them be effective in some way?
You know, I think what you're seeing is they're all getting healthy. You know, for whatever reason, we were missing one here or there. And, you know, Trey Williams is not completely healthy, but he's getting close. And you see what he is. I think what he rushed for 80 or 90 yards. You know, Trey Carson, we know what we have there. He gives us a different dimension at 230. You know, Ben Molina just does his job. He's the most steady. And, you know, Brandon Williams is the guy that probably has the most wire-to-wire potential. I mean, he's a home run threat from anywhere. So we've got a variety of guys. I think the key thing that gets back to what we were talking about early, the fact that when we're in those two back sets, whether it's Cam back there to help them, but usually it was the two backs to try to put pressure on the defense. They blocked well for each other. It didn't matter who it was. We had one either cutting off or lead blocking, whether it was Trey Carson or for Trey Williams or Brandon for Ben. And I think that's the kind of, again, when you're winning, you have to have an unselfish team, and that's hard because running backs get pretty selfish. They like the ball. But I think our staff does a great job with those guys. Again, if you don't block, you don't play. And they've done a good job with those guys knowing that they're sharing the wealth, and it keeps, you know, the more you can share it, the healthier you're going to be throughout the year because, you know, it's we're not even halfway. And we got some bruised up guys. So, you know, that they know that. They help each other, and I'm pleased with the direction that whole position has gone.
Far right, Gabe.
Speaking of unselfishness, are you seeing that from Cam Clear, doing
No
what
doubt.
it takes to win despite
No
not
doubt.
getting the ball?
I mean, all over the place. I mean, he's in the backfield as a blocker. He's in line as a blocker. You know, I think he caught one pass for one touchdown. So, you know, maybe we should throw it to him some more. He'll be the first to tell you that too. He's a big physical guy. Just loves to play. He's all over special teams. Has fun out there, and yeah, he's definitely, his role has definitely increased. And you got to remember, you know, the transition for these guys, whether it's high school or junior college, into this program, you know, is a little bit more difficult than you think, just to go out there and just start running past parents. So his role is increasing by the week, even though it doesn't seem like, you know, from the passing game standpoint, that's the case, but it has. And he's played substantially more snaps every week, and I look for that to continue.
Over here down front, Cease.
Kevin, only one game. Can you talk about the confidence Lambeau might give the team by making his field goal and all his extra points?
I'm not worried about the team. I'm worried about his confidence, right? So, you know, that's okay. We handle that. But I worry about personal confidence. And, you know, he took advantage of every opportunity that he had, whether it was an extra point or a field goal, and that's all you can do. And so, you know, to come out of that on the road, a little bit of wind, little weather, I guarantee you we're going to see a lot better conditions than we saw the other night for him. So that's where the confidence comes for me and for him. And just like so many things, you know, it's so many times at that position or other positions, receiver, anybody who's touching the ball, or even now on defense, you know, where you got to fit. It's not necessarily, you know, my confidence in you or the team's. It's your confidence to do your job. And I don't see how he could leave Fayetteville in that situation, you know, with everything that was going on in that environment, and be perfect for the night and not have a lot more confidence in what he's doing than when he first showed up. So, yeah, we're pleased with his progress.
Time for a couple more. If not, going once, twice, sold.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.